Hi Vogue, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my boyfriend's bathroom. Today I'm going to be showing you how I do a simple everyday face using some of my favourite products and techniques. I'm going to start by tying back my hair just because it'll make my foundation application easier so I don't get makeup in my hair or hair in my makeup. Next, I'm going to be taking the Rimmel Match Perfection foundation, and this one is in the shade 100 Ivory. Bottle just looks like this, and it's got a really nice pump. And so I'm just going to use my fingers to apply this. I'm going to take about 3 pumps, and take it on both my hands and kind of warm the product between my fingers so it kind of melts better into my face when I apply it. I'd start off putting it in the middle of my face because that's where I'd like the most coverage, you know, around my nose, under my eyes. And then I take it on my chin and around my mouth because that's another place where you can also get a lot of redness. And then I just take the rest on my forehead. And then I kind of blend it out in like wiping motions, just so that I'm like rubbing it into my skin. My preference is actually to use a brush, but I don't have a brush at my boyfriend's house at the moment for foundation. So my fingers will have to do. And I also take that down the neck as well because that's very important. This foundation is great because it has kind of a more buildable coverage. You can sheer it out if you'd like to, or you could kind of pack it on if you'd like a bit more coverage. And I actually like using my fingers to pat my face afterwards just to kind of blot the foundation, because if you only use circular motions, you kind of can end up with like streaks or lines on your face. So by patting it with your fingers afterwards, it kind of helps it to further melt it into the skin and also removes any of those like streaky lines. So it actually looks pretty okay close up. I'm actually very happy with how foundation blends with my fingers, particularly the Rimmel Match Perfection one. It's pretty good. Next up, I'm going to be putting on a little bit of bronzer. I'm going to be using the Bourjois bronzing powder, and it just looks like this. Mine is very bashed up because it's quite well loved, and the brush that I'll be using is the multitasking brush from Real Techniques. And I'm just going to be taking that on the cheeks, of course on the forehead and down the jawline. With the products that I keep at my boyfriend's house, they're products that I enjoy, but they aren't my holy grails because I don't want to miss them at home when I'm doing my makeup at my house, but also I don't want to struggle when I'm using them when I do come to his house and use the products that I've left here. So with this bronzer, it's pretty good. I like the scent, it's a really cute scent. It kind of smells a bit coconutty. Even though it's supposed to smell chocolatey, it smells kind of coconutty to me. It is a pretty good buildable bronzer, but sometimes I find that it does like skip a little bit. I'm not too sure if that's just how I used to use it a long time ago, but I remember it skipping a bit, but it's working out pretty well today. So yeah, it's an okay bronzer. It's very good for the price point, but it's not my holy grail. Next, I'm going to be applying blush, and I'm going to be using the Bourjois Coral Temptation Blush, and it's just a really cute little peachy pinky blush. I'm going to be using this duo fiber brush from Real Techniques. I'm just going to be taking that along the tops of my cheeks. I kind of like my blush to be higher on the face rather than lower on the face. I just feel like it gives a more lifted, youthful look. And don't be afraid to also take some of that blush across the front of the nose here, where the sun would naturally hit, and on the forehead, just to bring colour back to the entire face. You don't want to only have colour in one area, you want to look more balanced. So that's why I take it up there. Next, I'm going into highlight, and this is the very, very well loved Hustler Baby highlight from Fenty Beauty. Mine looks like this, and it's one of my favourite highlighters. It's just so flattering on so many skin tones. I'm going to be taking that same brush and taking that on the tops of my cheekbones, of course. I love this highlighter so much. I wish they produced it in the large size without it being a split pan, just because I use only the Hustler Baby side of the large highlight, so kind of wish that they made a big version of just Hustler Baby, but they probably will sometime in the future, I hope. Also, another thing with cheek products is that I'm not afraid to put a lot of blush on my cheeks, just because I find that highlight kind of takes that blush down a notch. As you can see, it's not as like crazy pink anymore, so I'm not afraid to use a lot of blush because I know that the highlight's gonna like cover it up a little bit. I forgot an essential step at the beginning, which for me is putting on an EOS lip balm in the beginning of my makeup routine. I think this is the sweet mint flavour. It's not the most nourishing of lip balms, but It does the job and it kind of preps my lips for the lip product that I'll put on later. It's not really the best for hydrating, but I prefer it for the way that it kind of has like a waxy-ish finish, and it kind of helps my lip products sit more naturally on my lip later, but I'll show you that when it happens. I'm actually not going to be using concealer today just because I don't really feel like I need it today. Sometimes I like to go in just on my blemishes and underneath my eyes, but today I cannot be bothered. So today I'm going to use the Too Faced Gingerbread Cookie palette, and this came out a long time ago in a Christmas collection. And as you can tell, mine is very well loved. This bronzer is almost absolutely gone. But I'm going to take that bronzer and use it as a nose contour. So I'm just going to take this base shadow brush from Real Techniques. I'm just going to take that bronzer down the sides of my nose. Now that my nose has a little bit more definition, I'm taking that same shade and the same brush, and I'm just taking them along my whole crease and just kind of using them as like a bronzy wash of color. Just like that. So that's with it and that's without it. It kind of gives a little bit more like depth to the eye. Next, I'm going to be going into the shade Maple Syrup, which is this dark matte brown at the top of the palette here, and I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to take that in the outer kind of crease, so just here. Now I'm going to go back in with the Fenty highlighter in Hustler Baby, and also this little brush from Real Techniques that kind of has like a flat tip. And I'm going to take that in the inner corner on my mobile lid just to bring some brightness back to the eye, and also in the brow bone and on the center of my nose, and a little bit on my cupid's bow as well. And I actually like to wet my brush with a little bit of water just so that these areas of highlight are a little bit brighter. I don't know why, but in this lighting, the way I've got it set up, this makes my like center of my face really, really bright for some reason. In real life, it's like normal, you know what I mean? I'm going to show you what eyeliner I've been using recently at his house. A lot of the products that I leave at my boyfriend's house are minis just because I don't have a lot of space in my drawer at his place, so I want to like pack as many products in as I can. So I've got this mini Kat Von D tattoo liner. Wait, is it called a tattoo liner? This is a Kat Von D ink liner, and this is just the mini size in the shade black, and this is what I use for eyeliner here. As you can see, this eyeliner does the job. This isn't my favorite eyeliner just because I prefer a brush tip liner just because I feel like it's more gentle on the eye and you can get a more precise tip. But this is an okay felt tip liner in my opinion. It stays pigmented and lasts kind of a long time. Like the actual liner has lasted me a long time. This lasts on my eyes a long time, and also, yeah, it is quite pigmented in the sense that it's like quite black. But I feel like the eyeliner itself is a little bit scratchy on the eyelid. The felt kind of drags my eye a bit and it's a bit uncomfortable, but it gets the job done. So yeah, that's the eyeliner done. For mascara, I've been using this Sephora Outrageous Curl Dramatic Volume and Curve Mascara, which just looks like this. And I'll show you the wand. It's a teeny tiny wand. And so I'll be using that on my upper lashes only. I prefer the look of a naked lower lash line, but the thing is with this mascara is because the wand is so small and it doesn't really have a lot of like large bristly bits coming off of it, it's kind of difficult to avoid getting this mascara on your eyelid just because there aren't like bristles coming off of it to kind of make your job easy, so you really have to get in there and then you end up getting a bit too close. But anyway, we'll see what happens. an okay job with the mascara today. I can't see anywhere that I've gotten on my eyelid, so I'm very happy. Actually, I want to talk a little bit more about this palette before I put it away. With this Too Faced palette, I know I've done a really basic eye look with it, but it's actually a really good versatile palette. You can make really basic eye looks like this, but there's also this gold shade here, which sometimes when I'm going out, this is the reason why I have this palette at my boyfriend's house. I can make more natural looks, but I could also make really dramatic looks if we're going out and he's like, quick, get ready, we're going out. And I go, okay. I can just go to this palette. There's this gold shade here, which I find really works well on my skin tone. This shade here, Winter Dream, is like, oh, I don't really think it's showing up very well in this lighting, but it's kind of like a shimmery purple shade, and that's good for like cooler tone looks. Even though I don't go for cooler tone looks as much, it kind of complements the rest of the colors in this palette, so I can always make it work. This color here, Cup of Joe, is a nice like smoky shimmery brown shade, and then Black Coffee is just your essential black shadow. I actually really like this black eyeshadow. A lot of black eyeshadows I feel like are patchy or can skip, but this one always blends out really well for me. Oh, and Ginger Cream up the top here, that's really good to wash all over the lid if I'm looking for a light wash of color before I get started on a more intense eye look. So yeah, I get a lot of use out of this palette, and I don't think any of the colors in here are bad or anything. I actually really enjoy it, and you can get a wide range of versatile looks out of this palette. In the future, maybe if we were going out somewhere and I was getting ready again at his house, I'll show you a more dramatic look with that palette if you're interested. I'm actually going to be using that same shade Maple Syrup from the palette and an eyebrow brush from Essence Cosmetics, and I'm just going to be using that as my brow powder because I don't have any eyebrow products here for some reason. But this does the job, and I've used it a couple of times and it's been okay, so I'm just going to use this as my brow powder. As you can see, this eyeshadow does work out as a brow powder for me just because I have darker hair and it kind of complements my hair color. If I went with a warm toned brown in my brows, it would look kind of like orangey. So with a cooler toned brown, it kind of works out better for me. So that is my brows done with the eyeshadow, and I think that looks fine for me. I'm going to go in with my lip product now, and this is why I applied the EOS lip balm in the beginning, because I feel like if I apply liquid lipstick straight to the lip, it kind of looks very like wrinkly and stuff just because of the way it dries on the lips. So by applying the EOS lip balm, it kind of gives a waxy base. So if I now apply liquid lipstick, I just take a little bit like that and I blot it in. So I'm able to achieve the lip color that I'm looking for from the liquid lipstick, but without getting like extremely wrinkly, dry looking lips. By the way, this shade I love. It's from the Samantha Jade Models Prefer collab. It's the brown shade. I also have the pink shade from her because they come in a little two-piece set, but I use the brown shade more just because I am a more brown yellow toned person. But the pink is really pretty too, and I actually do get quite a fair bit of use out of it just because it's a very flattering pink shade, even for myself who is not a pink lover. And yeah, that is the completed makeup look. The only thing left for me to do is take my hair out, and I would probably go get changed out of some pajamas into some more daytime clothes. And yeah, that is the completed makeup look. Thank you for joining me today in my boyfriend's bathroom. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments down below for anything you'd like to see from me in future. Subscribe to see my face more often, and hopefully I'll see you in the future very soon. Thanks for watching.